Good evening, everyone. How are we? Um, how is Agozie? I can see Mercy and Nairobi, Bob, So welcome to this awesome session again with NDA. So we have a very special guest with us today. He's the CEO of Lesson. I don't know if you've heard about that very beautiful organization. He's a creative executive with over 14 years experience. He has a lot of experience working in the edtech, fintech, and the game design industry. He has led several creative teams, and he has developed awesome products. So let's welcome Mr. Ayo to the stage. Thank you very much, sir, for honoring our invitation. Let's welcome Mr. Ayo.
Hi, good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. We are really excited to have.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. So, thank you very much. Today we have several questions I would like to ask you. We know how wise you are, and very, very knowledgeable about this, the digital art space. I would love to just tap a bit from your wisdom. So yeah, I have several questions here that I would like to ask you. If you would permit us to go ahead, can I start?
Yes, please. You can start. Thank you.
Okay, so I can see that you have over 14 years experience. Like, that is really amazing. 14 years. I'm just wondering, how old was I then, or where was I 14 years ago? So, and I'm wondering, like, how did you, I'm just wondering, what did you do that was different from other artists that brought you to this point? Like, what was that thing that you did that stood you out from the artists that made you different from them? So,
okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity to this evening. It's very good to be able to connect with the community and again the organizers as well for putting this together. Thank you so much. What's your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, my name is Louisa.
Louisa, cool. Thank you, Louisa. Thanks for hosting. Okay. So your question is around how did I start and what I did differently?
Yes,
but to answer that accurately, I think it would be good for me to just give a proper introduction to myself. So let me see if I can share my screen, if that is permitted.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Oh yes, you can see your screen.
Perfect. So so my name is Ayooluwa Nihinlola, but yeah, I think everybody calls me AY. I think AY is like the default nickname. Everybody, they call people that bear Ayo. So I think AY is fine for this call. Yeah, so I've been in this space for about 14 years, and I will give like more context into that as we go the conversation. I'm from Ogbomoso, Oyo State. I love digital arts. A big tech enthusiast as well. I really like photography. I think I do like my amateur photography on my phone. And again, when I'm opportune, plantain chips is my best snack. People that know me would know how much I love I love that. Navy blue is my best color. Lawn tennis is my best sport. I don't play. I like to watch. I like the professionalism to the game. I would need the players. I really like that, and I like music. I like that as well. So it's kind of what I would say. Few words that kind of summarizes my background. I will go very briefly, and this is important because I will touch on this as well as we go in the conversation. My educational background as well. So I graduated from Ayooluwa University. I studied fine arts, but I majored in graphics design. Are there any OAU guys in the house? Just put a comment in the section if you are from OAU or attended OAU. Please put it. I would like to know. So that was my first degree. So I majored fine art, but majored in graphic design. After that, I pursued a master's in 3D animation and game design from Open Window Institute in South Africa. I think I spent 2 years on that. Then after that, another diploma in cinematography and filmmaking. So I think that inspires my structured education approach to the creative industry. Then later on, went for some courses in Harvard Business School, Harvard School of Education, then my MBA at University of East London. So this is very important. And again, I will come back to why this is even necessary. Why am I studying all of this as well? But again, for the sake of this conversation, that is my background. Uh, this is very important as well. I always like to lay this foundation before we go into this conversation also. These are the people and things that I think inspires me as a person. The first person here is his name is Kaws, Kaws. He's an American artist, American modern artist. You can check him up on YouTube or online just later. See his work. The other is Steve Jobs. I like his innovation and simplicity very much. The third person here is Christopher Nolan. So this is the guy that did Inception, Interstellar, hands down. I think one of the best cinematographers or directors out there. I like his approach to visual storytelling. The fourth person here, many of us should know, is Walt Disney. So that is again the ingenuity, creativity, and vision for again just Walt over the years. Creating franchises that were years and years ago until today still has relevance. I think that takes a special kind of vision and ingenuity. And lastly, we have Kelechi Amadiobi. If you're a photographer on the call today, you should know who the man is. One of the veteran photographers in the country. I came across his work in 2008, 2009, and I was just blown away by the creativity, by the detail in his work as well. His photography seemed to me like art than just photograph. Again, that made sense later when I discovered he was actually a painter before he became a photographer. Like, I see. But till today, it's still waxing strong as well. The other things on the lower part are more of representation than direct correlation. So Tom and Jerry, again, that is just again to indicate how much I take inspiration from 2D animation. I truly believe 2D animation is the best expression of creativity ever. Again, that's just my personal opinion. I think hands down, nothing compares to a really well done 2D work. Apple, if you know me, you know how much I love Apple products. And not because of anything, just because of the attention to detail on the hardware side. This is not even a software Android versus Apple conversation, but I truly believe the detail, the finishing on hardware, and that inspires me a lot as well. The third on that row is like a shelf. So I really like woodwork. If I wasn't doing anything else, I think I would like to learn how to make proper furniture. I really appreciate when carpenters pay like attention to how smooth it is, the finishing and all of that. So I sometimes, even till now, I think almost every other week I would visit like a furniture shop, not to buy, just kind of take a look and just see what they're doing. I think I take a lot of inspiration from that. Lastly, music. What we have on the screenshot is a debut album of a band called The Cavemen in Nigeria. I truly like them a lot. I like the kind of music they make. So this is kind of again background, people and things that inspires me. Okay, so now to go back to your question. So the question is around how did I start? I think I'd kind of covered that a little bit and what I did differently. It's a very difficult thing to answer about what I did differently because I would not even say from what I was doing then were very deliberate, and that is the truth. But I would say maybe one thing I think I would say I did that was different than most other people as well. And that was because I found my focus or purpose very early. So usually it will take time, which is fine as well, for you to understand what you want to study. What do you want to build your career on? What direction do you want to build your career? What would you want to involve? It takes sometimes time, even years. Even right now, people are still trying to answer that question. But I think I was able to answer that very early on, which is what really informed my progression and my trajectory as well, which is why I would spend some time studying finance, applying for finance in the university, going for
Mm,
masters in 3D animation. Again, that was because it was clear in my
mm,
mind that is what I wanted to do, this is what I wanted my career to
mm,
be. I would say that is single-handedly one thing I think I did that was deliberate. Every other thing were more of consequence of this same belief or approach. So yeah, to answer the question, I think that's what I did that will be different from most or some other artists as well. I think as well in relation to that as well, there's a lot of self-taught approach in the industry by default, especially in this part of the world. There are not many these structured design schools. There are not many structured animation schools. There are not many structured schools that teach institutions that teach most of the things that we love to do.
mm,
But I made it a mission to personally move beyond just self-taught and to move beyond just watching YouTube tutorials. I really wanted to learn how is this done in a professional world, which is why
mm,
again I would pursue all of what I did education wise. I'm always wanted to know, even though if I could do it from like self-taught, I still want to know in a proper setting how is this
mm.
done. I don't want to miss anything out. So yeah, I think that was what I did differently. That was the different approach I took as
Yeah.
well to answer your question. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Like that was very, very detailed. I really appreciate that. So I have
Thank
another
you.
very good question is okay, how are you able to position yourself to get international contracts? Like did you get it via DMs? Did you submit proposal or was it more of, hot like them coming to you via your DMs? So like can you shed more light
Okay.
on that?
So question is around how do you position yourself to get like project and contract and
Yes,
like that.
yes.
Let me scroll through my slide and see if I can answer that. So this is the first thing I would like to talk about. So this is vision and branding. Um, I one of my favorite characters there on screen, Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. One of our favorite quotes is "A girl has no name." I tell artists, you're not a rasta, you need a name. You need to be known. You can't be mysterious. So that's the first thing. You want to create a name and brand for yourself. Um, and the easiest way to do that as artist is through your work. You are not an influencer, you are not jumping up and down TikTok or Instagram. It's your work that speaks for you. So you want to put a lot of attention into your work. But beyond just um, posting your work randomly or putting out your work randomly, you want people to know you for specific things. You want to
Mm,
know for certain things. So I'll use myself a lot as example in this conversation because I think that is like the whole point of having this. So some of the things I'll be sharing, and again, just disclaimer, might not work for some of us. I
mm,
might require us to take a back step to think about. But what I'm sharing is what has worked for me and what I think might also work for us. So yeah, so you want to take a very deliberate approach to your work, to the way you look at your work, and it first starts with answering the question of vision. Um, what is the purpose of you doing what you're doing? Why do
mm,
you want to become an illustrator? Why do you want to become a motion graphic artist? Why do you want to become an animator? You have to be able to answer that. Yes, I know survival is one. Of course, you want to make money, you want to survive. But beyond that, there needs to be a reason. There needs to be a clear vision of why you wanted to do that. For me, my vision was to use my art to do as a form of documentation. That was my purpose back in the days that have passed away that we don't know today. Can I make a research and illustrate them to document them and bring them back to light? That is vision. This is not because someone had contracted me to do this project, but this is what informs everything that you see on my page. So it's easy for you to come on my page and say, hey, I can see where this guy is kind of leaning towards as well. So that's an example of a vision. So that is the way to begin to position yourself for project and international recognition. So vision and branding are kind of similar, because branding in its true sense is having a distinct name or a distinct niche for yourself. So if you're able to have a clear vision and that informs the work that you do, you begin to also create a brand for yourself. But if you can answer that question for yourself, people also can't answer it for you. So that's the first thing I think in the step of just positioning yourself for project and for contract, as it said in the question. Another thing is also consistency. You want to be
Mm,
consistent. I
mm,
think consistency is perhaps what kind of makes a difference between a good or okay artist and an exceptional one. You
mm,
want to be very consistent in the quality of work you put out there, in the frequency of work you put out there. You want to be very, very consistent with it, in your style, in your message, the brand that you're building. You want to be deliberate about it. You want to be consistent about it. As we wrap up this question, a simple way I always ask people to answer this when it comes to vision and branding is to make a list of all of the artists that you really love. Maybe you
mm,
follow on Instagram, you follow on ArtStation, on Behance. Make a list and spend some time thinking of why do I like these artists.
mm,
Whatever that question answer to that question is, that is their
mm,
brand. And that is also
mm,
what we want people to be able to look at your work and say, this is what I like about this person. So you have to be able
mm,
to answer that. That is again one of the ways to begin to position yourself for projects, for recognition, for bigger opportunities. So I
yes.
think the channel in my mind does not matter much. If it's DM, if it's email, it won't matter. What comes on different ways. I've gotten jobs from DM, I've gotten work from email, I've gotten work from direct referrals. That wouldn't matter. The first thing that is most important is having this very clear sense of vision and branding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. That was beautifully said. One thing that stood out to me about what you said was be consistent in the quality of your work, the frequency of your work, the style, and the message. So I'll move on to my next question. I can see that you've led several creative teams. That means you've worked with other digital artists. So I would like to know, or we would also like to know, what soft skills have you observed that digital artists lack? Because they can have amazing art skills, they might know how to draw and be very good in every other area, but what soft skills do you think that they lack that could make their career better? So thank you.
So yeah, thank you. So there are two. I will answer one here. The other I think is not on this slide. So it's professionalism and ability to be able to network and collaborate with other artists. Those are some of the two soft skills I've seen creative people generally lack. And it's not a function of the people themselves. By design, the approach to work, you can be on your computer for hours alone. You can be in the room doing your work, again, working by yourself and putting out great work. So by function of it, we are very always alone with the computer. You're always very like on your by yourself. So that creates a deficiency when
Mm,
it comes to interacting with other people and interacting with clients. So that's where it starts from. So you find that very, very evident when you have working with a set of creative people. You have to be able to treat them differently because they are coming from a world of self delivery, from self just again one man team kind of thing. So that's the first one. So that's reflected in their professionalism and their approach to work. The second one is about just networking and collaboration. Especially in this part of the world, we are not very good. Especially when it comes to creative people, we are not very good. Which is why I'm really happy. Platforms like NDA exist when you can again join a community, network with other people,
mm,
attend virtual workshops, attend physical ones, so that you can begin to move beyond just being a good technical artist. Because at some
mm,
level, that technicality doesn't help you scale to the next level that you want to get to. In actual reality, you find out that sometimes individuals that are very good at this other side of networking or collaborating, they scale faster than even
mm.
the very technical ones that are just focused on the technical aspect. So it needs to be balanced. But again, back to your question, to answer very plainly, I think what lacks most artists or creative people lack most, it's usually that sense of professionalism and ability to be able to network, collaborate, and work with others.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So I have another question, and it goes like this. First of all, like the world is evolving. There is AI now, and there are lots of
Yeah.
AI arts. So, as an artist, how can we ensure that our work remains relevant in a competitive world that is constantly changing? Like, how do we ensure that we keep standing out, that we don't get left behind?
Okay, that's a very interesting and very controversial topic as well. When you touch on AI, let me see. I think I have a slide that answers that as well. I really like the Avengers franchise, and one of my favorite character is Thanos. He has a quote. I think this is in Infinity War or Endgame, which is "Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same." And I think that is what, when it comes to technology, when it comes to AI and arts, it is here. It is come to stay. It's not going anywhere. No matter how we feel about it, no matter the controversies, no matter what the opinions might be, it is not going. That is again how the wheel of innovation moves. Just lay that foundation, trust. But as artists, how do we now approach our work when things have become more competitive now? First, I think is to embrace these tools. You want to be as good as some of these tools as any other random person. I think that is just, again, I'm very conscious of our time, but I think that is just embrace the tool, make the best of it. The second part um, of staying relevant
And yeah,
is to continuous. It's like to have a mind of continuous learning. I'm very happy that for you to have even gotten point A to B as an artist, that requires a lot of passion to not die. You don't get to a level where you feel like, okay, I think I've learned enough, or let me just kind of relax and keep doing what I'm doing. No, that constant sense of learning, you have to be able to learn more, discover more, experiment with new tools, try out new things. You have to keep going. It's a non-stop thing. I think so far, an artist keeps doing that. You keep staying relevant. You begin to drop to the relevance where, hey, that mindset of, okay, I think I'm good enough. This is what I want to be doing. I'll just stay at this level. So again, embracing all of these tools out there and just continuous learning. I think those are the two ways to just keep staying relevant.
thank you so much. I'm sure everybody's learning. So I have another question. I can see that you've led creative teams, and I'm sure maybe one or two people might want to at some point lead their own teams or work with a group of people or a group of digital artists. So how do you manage transition from working alone to now working with a team? How did you manage handling artists under you? How did you go about that?
Thank you. Got it. So this is a very careful question to answer because at the core of it, leadership and creative management is the different paths to technical mastery. So you find someone might say, I want to become the best animator in Nigeria. That's the different paths to say, I want to become the best creative manager in the business. They are two different things. And we're talking about career. You have to be able to first answer that question to say, what do I want? Which path do I want to pursue? If you want to pursue what you've asked me now, which is building up yourself to be a manager, to be a lead, you have to be deliberate about that. And what that will require is you have to make sure that you are building your soft skill as equally as you are investing your technical talent. And you're focusing on just YouTube tutorial on how to be the best illustrator, how to use Procreate, how to use Adobe Illustrator. Like that cannot be the only thing. Most of us, in a lot of cases, focus alone on just the technical part, which is what makes the transition difficult. And again, to be clear, that's also not bad. There are artists that work at these DreamWorks that are just technical artists, and they are doing well. They find fulfillment in what they do. And there are also some that are like, you know what, I want to go beyond just being a technical. I made that decision very early on that I wanted to move into creative management. What that meant was that for everything I was learning how to do, illustrating, animating, all of my technical endeavors was with the mindset of one day I want to learn how to manage people that can do the same thing. So that was at the back of my mind all along. I didn't think I was going to be the one carrying camera to shoot the next blockbuster, but I wanted to know what does it mean to be a cinematographer. So I went to diploma for that, so that when I'm managing people that can against cinematographers, I want to be able to know how to manage and work with them. So the first thing in this to answer this question is to first again career path. Look at what do you want to pursue. Do I want to be like a very technical, skilled person and again focus on that, or do I want to become a manager at some point? Those are two different paths that I think again equally fulfilling, or it needs a conscious decision that needs to be made.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that brings us to our next question. You mentioned career path. So for artists that would like to advance their careers, like how can they approach setting a long-term career goal? So can you shed more light on that?
Hi, Lisa. Can you come again, please? I think I lost my internet again.
Okay, it's fine. So I said, for the artists that would like to, advance their careers, how can they approach setting career goals, like long-term career goals?
Okay. So yes. So I spent some time as well in product management. Again, a different conversation entirely during the course of my career as well. So what I learned about product and what I like about product is the idea of roadmap. A roadmap is basically like a simple layout of your journey over a period of time of your product. So I like the way we create roadmaps for products. So I apply that to my life as well, or to my career, to say, okay, this is 2024. What do I think I want to be? Again, there are 4 quarters in a year. You can do it quarterly. First quarter, second, third, and fourth. Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? Again, if that is too much, you can do it maybe H1, H2, first half of the year, second half of the year. But fundamentally, what I'm saying is there needs to be a plan. If they are open to scale your career, your work, your goals, to achieve any like substantial goals, there needs to be a plan. I always advise not to overwhelm with this plan. Don't create like 100 things that now becomes like a task on their own. Like look for simple achievable goals that can be created. Then begin to follow those goals. Again, set milestones. It could be as simple as I want to have a different version of my portfolio every quarter. That could be a simple goal that you set for yourself, and you'll see that again you are improving, and there's something that you're setting that you're achieving. That sense of achievement alone brings a lot of fulfillment. So that's again one way, and also actively and deliberately track your progress. Make sure you are better than you were last month, a week ago. This is where having some form of support of community also applies. If you have family or friends that honestly give you feedback, keep them close. You will need those people here. Those people that will say, "Oh man, you are the best guy. You are the baddest illustrator in Nigeria. There's no one like you." You don't want more. You want people that can objectively tell you, like, "Okay, this is good, but you can adjust here, you can improve here, you can." So the more of those people you have around, the more it can also help you grow. It can also help you achieve your goals. So there has to be a balance of everything. But I think to summarize this, having a clear plan is very important. I think that is it.
Wow, I'm so impressed. You said you went into product management. Are you kidding me? Like you are loaded. Like
yeah,
wow.
Thank you.
Wow, wow, I'm really impressed. I am really impressed for real. So before I go on to my next questions, for the audience, can you prepare your questions? We might take one or two before
So I think someone has their hand raised, Joshua or something.
Okay, no, yeah. Before we get to that one, I think I have a question to ask. I was saying,
Okay.
what is the biggest challenge that you faced in scaling your career, and how did you overcome it?
Hmm. That's a very interesting question. Biggest challenge. I think we've kind of touched on some of this. I'll just kind of reiterate again. Most of those examples I was giving, I think that apply to me myself as well. First is just the whole effort of moving beyond just technical part of the career and moving to a more managerial point. Just like every other artist, I was also very comfortable just being behind the scene as well. I think that transition from moving behind to being at the forefront was something that I think I found challenging at some point. But again, very quickly I was able to work towards that as well. But the template I use and apply to this to think about this is whatever feedback that you get from people around, from people in your community, you want to deliberately work, take it as a form of challenge. Because sometimes being able to discover the challenges come from a point of self-awareness. That's a different conversation. Some people are not self-aware to even understand what your challenges or your challenge might be. So we want to rely sometimes on other people as well. Get feedback. I do that a lot. I get again people that are close to me. Hey, what do you think? Is what I'm trying to do. What do you feel about this? Those feedback are important to even discover what the challenges are. And again, once you have those feedback, it's clear in your mind what the challenges are, the next thing is to now deliberately work to improving them. So that's kind of the way I think about. But everything I will discuss are just exactly what the things that I had to overcome in the course of my career.
Thank you so much. I wish we had more time. Like, we have a lot of questions, so but I think we start to move up to the audience. So
Okay, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Iwai, for all you shared so far. So, my question is, from what you've said, we can tell that you're not someone that stays in one place. Like, you're not just focused on one aspect of art. And people have argued that you should pick one and stick to it. So you can achieve mastery and you can know. But I can tell, I can see that you're not someone like that. So which advice would you give someone that's trying to toe that line? Because when you're talking about gathering artists that you like and asking questions why I like them, trying to find a voice for your brand, it didn't really resonate with me because I don't think I'm someone like that that wants to do one thing for the rest of my life. So what advice would you give me? Thank you.
Thanks so much, Messi. So I think I had a slide that I can use to answer this. I hope. Okay. Um, and again, and you're right. Some of the things I would share might not apply to you or even some people on this call because they are very contextual into what I have done that worked for me. And I try to be very careful when it comes to sharing thoughts or ideas. Because I know it's not like a direct template that can work for everyone. But again, to answer your question, when it comes to skill mastery and diversification, what I do is to look at all the components of a particular medium I've chosen. So, and for this one, we're talking about digital arts. So, what I did would be look at still, motion, and 3D, and say I want to know at least one tool in each of these medium. Again, that's the personal thing. I want to know at least one because I think once I have an understanding of at least each of these tools, then I begin to be able to um, at least execute projects that might come my way. But this is when talking about technical skills, or also again beyond technicality as well. I can also say, you know what, I also want to um, have more thoughts, or I want to learn more about how to manage a team also. I also create like a roadmap for that as well. But again, all in all, like I said, Messi, what is most important is to first have a very strong conviction of to answer yourself. What do you want? You mentioned you want to kind of move around, and I appreciate that. I'm like that as well. But even in that, try to explore. You also still want to have a plan. Whatever the plan and roadmap is what you want to begin to move to kind of accomplish. So I think my advice would be first spend some time understanding exactly what path you want to pursue. What is the roadmap? I think that is what would guide you on how to then move forward on, okay, do you need to learn it too? Do you need to do this or not? All of those questions will be answered when you have a very clear plan. If you don't have the plan yet, the first advice would be to spend some time thinking about what the plan should be.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, we'll move on to Christian. You can ask a question, Christian.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian. I want to ask you a question concerning, like, I'm in this stage, like, I'm almost finishing my university, and I want to focus on my digital art skills, but like, I'm kind of confused because of my location. So it's really giving me an issue now, like, because I am based in Akwa Ibom State, so I'm trying to, like, I don't, I'm like, this area, this part is very hard to like expand my career. So I'm like, I don't know, like, can you guys help me? Because I know that there's some part in Lagos that this thing is more advantageous. So like, I'm trying to like get help on what I can, like, I just need some tips. Help you. I hope my message.
The question is around is in Akwa Ibom, and his own perception is that he needs to maybe change the location. I'm not sure maybe if you joined early on, Christian. So I grew up in somewhere called Ogbomoso. Before then, I grew up in Oyo. I've not been to Akwa Ibom, but I can bet it with you, these two places are a bit more local than Akwa Ibom. If you have the internet, if you have your laptop, you have your tools, sincerely, I would even advise to stay back in Akwa Ibom, for example, to build your skills before moving to a particular location. It doesn't really matter in this age and time. Being in Lagos would only do one thing for you, would allow you to spend more money, would increase your cost of living. If there's no direct correlation. What can also do, which I can agree, is to, yes, you can meet up with more people physically, you can connect more with people, but that is a different stage of your career completely. If right now you are just trying to develop your skills, trying to get better technically, believe you me, being in Akwa Ibom, you would have better results than being in Lagos. And I'm saying that because that's worked for me. Most of my life, I think I got to, after university, before I began to actively work in Lagos, and I'm very thankful for that. Lagos is a different place entirely. So yes, my advice would be to just have a change of mindset. Spend more time in Akwa Ibom. Thankfully, I just graduated from university, so we still have some time. But the idea that you think being in Lagos, people in Lagos, you'll be surprised that most of the people that you see their works online, where they are, it's not Lagos. It's not Lagos. But yes, Lagos is good for building relationship, networking, meeting up with people. That I would agree with you. But that should not be your concern. Now, if your problem is technical skill, you want to focus more on that in Akwa Ibom. We can have a chat much later. We can go more deeper into that as we go. But again, to answer your question right now, I think that is my response.
Thank you so much. That was beautifully said. Chin also said, Lagos go whine you, but no panic. Okay, so I think I saw Oluwaseyi's hand raised. Would you like to ask a question now?
Yeah, it was high, but I think somehow, in some way, Mr. Ayo has answered the question. It was about people with multiple interests and how can they manage and balance it. And to some extent, he has done justice to it. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So there's some questions in the chat. Adedonis, how do you advise we measure success as creatives?
Yeah, so this is a big question, and this is a really good question. But I think to answer that question is not even as creative itself. This is a very contextual question to how do you measure success as a person, and how do you measure success just in life. And this definition is different from everyone. It's one of those contextual things. Some people is monetary gain, some people is material, some people is just growth. But as a creative person, in my mind, success is not a destination, it's a journey. And that is why that's the way I look at it. Again, let me not as a creative person. Let me just give you my own approach to success. It's the entire journey. Right now, I would not even add myself to a list of successful artists in any point. I believe I'm still on that journey. I think it's and that is the way I look at it. So I think you want to look beyond just success as a creative person to contextually yourself. What would you consider as success? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be mine. It could be some people. Success might be to make X amount of figure in a year. And if you achieve that, that might mean you've attained success, which is all well and good for you. Some people might be to work with some certain kind of clients. If I work with Microsoft, if I work with Google, I think I'm successful. And for some other people, that does not mean just even the starting point as well. So success as a creative person is also the same as just success as the word itself. So it's a bit more deeper than that. So it shouldn't be like headache. And to be fair, sincerely, I think it's it's not the best mentality as an artist to put that at the forefront of your mindset to be pursuing success, so to say. What you want to pursue is getting better, improving, putting out good work, building a brand. Those are things that should be. Success will come as a consequence to doing all of these other things properly. So yeah, I think that is my response to that.
That was beautifully said. Okay, another question in the chat is this. What advice would you give someone who is a traditional artist in painting but is trying to transition into digital art, but for some reason there is no time because of other kind of office work and engagement? This question is from Chinon. So
That's a good question. And the most dangerous people that I consider dangerous are traditional artists moving to digital arts. They are always exceptionally better. If you find the best digital artist, you will discover they have a very strong background in traditional art. So if you are even a traditional art artist already, like you're already like 50% of the way. So the question about how transition into digital art. For this, you want to start with an approach that can allow you work on the go. That is one of the best ways. I'm guessing from what you described, you currently have like some form of office work and engagement that is, again, survival is taken care of. You probably have a sort of income. But what you want to do now is to invest into a digital device that can allow you work on the go. So even if lunchtime at the office, if it's you are again committing to work, you found some 20 minutes, find some 30 minutes. That is how to begin to develop that. That is what I think. What tools like the iPad, some of these tabs have done, even some phones have like small stylus that you can begin to use to explore art from a digital point. So you want to be able to invest into one of those tools that can allow you to, again, at the spare time you can have, you can also begin to explore some of those. So they've gotten incredibly powerful. As much as you can do on some of these tools, you can do the same on a laptop also. So this sort of time also it's contextual. I don't know how engaged you are at the office. I don't know how, but you can even start from maybe just weekend. If it's just Sunday alone or Saturday alone that you can find, you can start from there. If you can be consistent on just even dedicating to 1 hour, 2 hours on a weekend. Question about time is also tied to like passion and how much you want to get out of it. I believe that we'll find time for anything that we are passionate about. Time could be 30 minutes, it could be 1 hour. But if you truly want to, again, you make the time. And I believe, but again, invest in a digital tool that can allow you work on the go, and the time would come as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So this question is from me personally, and I did not even plan to ask the question, but it took how long I've seen everything that you said and everything that you've done, and I'm curious, like, do you have anybody in your family that is an artist? Like, were you born into an art family, and when did you even start drawing? How did you even start drawing? Who was your inspiration? Like at the
Um, so yes, no, I don't have anyone in my family that was an artist. I did not. Um, but I think what also kind of drove my interest in arts was because I also got to start using technology at a much earlier age than a typical person at the time. Not this day, but yes, I think maybe as early as 6, 7 years old. Again, we're fortunate to have like a computer in the house, and that was, I think, what opened my mind to okay, you can do creative works on digital tools. Doing CorelDRAW back then, Adobe PageMaker, and a couple of other tools I was exploring at a very young and early age.
wow.
So that helped with the digital part of it. For art itself, I won't lie to you, Lisa. I wasn't good at many other things growing up. Like so, I wasn't like I could draw, and in my mind, my approach to growth and development is laser focused. If I can
Mm,
do this thing well, I want to be the
mm,
best at this one thing, and that was it. So I wasn't great at. I was great at many other things, but I was exceptional at creative work and art. So I made it my mission. What I could do well, you know what? This one thing, I'm also going to be the best at it. So from primary school, secondary school, I can feel any other thing, but this one, I'll make sure I don't fail. So that was the mindset. I call it laser focus. So you know when you have a gun and there's focus on it. So laser focus is when you have that red light that really points to one particular place. So that's my
yeah.
approach. Like one thing, I just focused on it. So yeah, I think that was what really reflected in it. So it wasn't because I felt it was like the most lucrative thing. No, like I didn't think that art then wasn't very lucrative. But again, I'll do that one thing, have some natural talent in it. You know what? I'll be the best artist. I think that was just it for me.
That's beautiful. Like laser focus at a very young age.
Mm,
It's really impressive. So
okay.
Agozi has a question. He's asking, what are the structures to put in place in the long run? For example, payments or legal documents.
Okay. So this is a good question to answer. So I'm going to guess now that this person has moved from the point of okay technicality to more business mind. Um, Getting into this conversation, you want to approach your work as well with a lot of business, like from a point of business also. So if you have to first register whatever brand that you're working with, do that. I think in Nigeria is CAC that we use for our registration. Go through that process. Get your brand properly registered. I don't think it costs that much to do that. So once you've done that, I think thankfully now there are now tools coming up that can even help make this faster. So I know there is a startup. What is the name? If anyone can remind me, it was from Fort Canvas founder. No, no, the Fort Canvas founder they have a startup now. What's the name?
Full gap.
Uh, what was the name?
Full gap.
Full Gap. Yes, yes. So there's tools like Full Gap now that can even help sort out as a creative person, manager of the payments, invoicing, the legal document, and things like that. Just take advantage of tools like that. Don't bother yourself much in trying to do it on your own. So I think I can yes, Full Gap. Thank you. So you can check out tools like that. They will really help. These things did not exist in the past, but now that they are available, no need to begin to overstress yourself with things like that. But I think it would be spend some time just registering the company properly as well. Open a proper account beyond just your personal account. That thing works. I won't lie to you. When people ask for your account and say, "Let me send money," don't just give your random personal account. It gives some form of perception that it's serious business that you are doing here as well. But again, Full Gap I think would be when it comes to like payment, invoicing, and legal documents. Full Gap would really help.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That'll be our final question for today. I'm sure we're all like, we got something really insightful today. Like, let's show our love to Mr. AY in the chats, with the emojis. Let's just, show him love and just appreciate him. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. Like, I've learned so much personally, and I've been inspired by the fact that you are so technical. Like, you're an artist, but you know product management, you know roadmap. I'm impressed, really. So thank you so much for, coming to ND to really give us so much wisdom and so much insight. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
It's
Thank
nice to
you.
have you.
Yeah, have a wonderful
Thank
evening. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
so yeah, bye. Yeah.